Hello and welcome to Willoughby DIY. If you're new here, my name's Faith and today we're doing DIY Christmas ornaments. Using a variety of techniques, I created 8 different styles of ornaments. So hopefully there's something here for everyone, or at least something to inspire you. They're perfect to decorate with, or you can give them as a gift. Best of all, they're really simple, so you can make them with your kids, grandkids, or nieces or nephews, whoever. For the first ornament, you'll need one of these tiny little bottle brushes. I got mine in this pack from Michael's, but I've heard that you can find them at the Dollar Tree. Unfortunately, I could not, but these are great and I got them 40% off. They have 2 different sizes. I grabbed one of the small ones and this flattish round plastic ornament also from Michael's, 40% off. Remove the cap and grab one of the smallest bottle brushes. I couldn't find my tweezers, but you will need some tweezers for this one. I just instead took a skewer, taped it to my tree, and then I'm going to put some hot glue on the bottom of that tree base and we're going to stick it down in the hole of that ornament carefully. Once you get it in there, you can make sure it sets right at the bottom in the center of the ornament. I end up having to use another skewer to kind of push it off of there and then the tape got stuck on it, but that was okay. I just waited for the glue to set and dry and I took that skewer and pulled the tape out. No big deal. Then I took the skewer and kind of fluffed the branches of the tree up, the needles on the tree, because they were a little messed up from pushing it down, the skewer down into it. Take this faux snow from the Dollar Tree and just fill it to cover the base of the tree. Add your lid back on and then take you some jute twine from the Dollar Tree as well and hot glue and wrap it around the cap. So I started at the base of that plastic there where the cap sits, and I'm just going to hot glue and wrap. Once you get up to the top, you want to hot glue it down, and then from then on out you're going to be hot gluing basically the entire thing and wrapping the twine in like a spiral to cover the lid. I hope that makes sense, but you just basically want to neatly cover the entire cap of this ornament using the twine. And if you have some sort of baker's twine or something that you would like to use instead, that would work as well. Once your lid is completely covered in twine, it should look a bit like this. Then I'm going to take a lighter, hit it with a flame because jute, you know. And then I'll take this is about a 5-6 inch piece of that lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I do end up cutting it down to it's probably about 3 inches long. But I'm going to hot glue that onto the little loop, the metal loop on the lid of the ornament, and then the 2 ends I will hot glue overlapping one another to get a nice neat loop, sort of seamless loop on the top as the hanger. And just for a little extra pizzazz, I'm going to take one of these green mini bows in a pack I got from the Dollar Tree. We're just going to clip that little wire stuff right off, fold it down, and then hot glue that right onto our ornament. And that's it for this little guy. I think it turned out beautifully, super simple, but very rustic and cute, perfect for like a woodland Christmas theme. I love these little bows too. For ornament number 2, you want to grab one of the regular round plastic ornaments. You can get these in packs of 2 at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to make 2, but you can make as many or as few as you like. Pick some glitter, your choice. I'm using silver and this very pale blue, icy blue color, and I'm mixing together in a bowl. I like the bowl because it's less mess and then sprinkling the glitter. And I'm using this Dollar Tree school glue and I'm going to paint it on the bottom of my ornament, just covering about 1/3 of it. And then giving it like little hills to make it kind of look like snowdrifts, you know. But once you get your glue on, or you could use Mod Podge, then you want to just stick it into the glitter and just roll it around and kind of squish it down to fill in all those spots with glitter. Let your ornaments completely dry, which should only take a short amount of time. I don't know. I probably came back to this about 20-30 minutes later and kept working. But once they're dry, I took some scissors and kind of tapped all the excess loose glitter off. And then I'm going to take this tulle or tulle, I'm not sure how you say it, But I had some of this knocking around from my mother-in-law giving me a bunch of craft stuff. I just cut a couple of strips of it, and I'm going to shove a strip into each ornament ball. I hope that makes sense. But it's going to give this like snowy blizzardy look. And then I'm going to take some metallic silver paint and outline where the glitter is, where it stops, to give it a nice finished look. And then I'm going to take a dotting tool. Well, it's not a dotting tool. It's actually meant for fondant, and I got it in one of those packs from the Dollar Tree. But I'm going to use it to add some dots all over it. And these are like a little blizzard in a ball. I don't know. Snowballs. They're cute though. I don't know. Once the paint's completely dry, give it a nice coat of Mod Podge. I used matte Mod Podge, and it gave it sort of this frosted look. So if you want it to look more shiny, I would suggest using gloss Mod Podge to finish this. And I think these could be great in like a set, or you can do all different colors and completely cover the ornament if you wanted to with glitter. It's entirely up to you. For number 3, you're gonna want to grab just another one of those flattish round plastic ornaments and some pom-poms. I had these pom-poms left over from so many Christmases past. I don't know how long ago I got them, but I can pretty much promise you I got them from the Dollar Tree. If not, they do sell these kind at Walmart. And I'm just gonna fill this up, mostly using the red and green, but I do put a little bit of white in there as well. And then taking this gorgeous candy stripe ribbon from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to wrap it around the outside edge of the cap. Once I got it wrapped around, I do trim up the end a bit, because if you try to stick this onto your ornament just like this, it's going to like wrinkle up. So I just trimmed slivers at a time and kept checking it to see if it would just sit straight. Once I did that, I hit it with a flame to seal the ribbon, but that caused it to shrink and shrivel. So I had to kind of pull the ribbon to stretch it back out. And then I'm just going to take some of those teeny tiny pom-poms and glue them on the very top of the ornament lid. And it looks kind of like a little flower, and I'm not sure that I even like this, but it was fun to make anyway. And I feel like the lid kind of looks like one of those old school like crowns, you know? Like, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but that's what it reminds me of. So I'm not sure that I'm really into it, but it's still cute and fun and festive, and I'm sure someone will like it. For ornament number 4, you want to use some balls or small ornaments. I have these Dollar Tree golf balls left over from a Halloween project I did. So I'm just going to take these and grab whatever kind of garland you have on hand. I happen to have this tinsel garland that I picked up from either the Dollar Tree or Walmart like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. It's just in my stash. We're going to glue that tinsel garland or whatever garland you got right onto the ball, and then put like 4 lines of hot glue going about halfway down the ball on each side, if you can call it that, and then wrap the garland around. Then you're just going to continue to wrap until the ball or ornament, whatever you're using, is completely covered. Poke you a hole into it so that you can put in a hanger. To create a hanger, I'm going to take some of these little festive, Christmassy, tinsel-y pipe cleaners or chenille stems, whatever you call them. I'm going to make a loop, twist the ends together, and put some hot glue on those ends, and stick it right down into that hole we just made on our ball. And that's it for these. And I also made some gold ones, and you could do these with so many different colors. Like, I've seen so many fun different kinds of tinsel garland at the Dollar Tree. You could even do it with pine garland if you wanted to. Like, I think these are really fun and festive and very versatile, and they would probably look really good on like a garland or something. I don't know. I just thought these were kind of fun and super, super easy. Ornament number 5, you're going to need some napkins because we're decoupaging. Oh yeah, I grabbed these from the Dollar Tree, and this wood round that comes in packs of 6 from Walmart. We're going to cut us a little square of that napkin off, and we're going to separate the layers. So these are 2-ply, so there's 2 layers to it. The easiest way to get this started is just tear a corner, and you can pretty easily pull it apart from there. Just do it gently and carefully so you don't rip the napkin. And I'm using the regular school glue, Dollar Tree glue, putting a thin layer onto my wood round and laying my napkin on top. You could use Mod Podge if you want, or you could probably also use spray adhesive, but I was completely out of spray adhesive, of course. Actually, you could probably use glue sticks as well, but I was having trouble with glue sticks this day, so I don't know. Once it's completely dry, either way, take you a sanding block and remove the excess napkin from the outside edge. And then I flipped it over and painted the blank side white, let that completely dry, and took a piece of painter's tape and lined it up down the middle to block that off so I could take some Flag Red by Apple Barrel and paint the sides. Before that dries, I'm going to add in these little sort of stripe pieces on the sides, and then take some white paint and give us some candy stripes. So I wanted to do this wet because I feel like when the colors blend, it makes it have more of like a homemade candy look than if I just put on the stark white. Although I do let it dry and then go over those lines with some more white just to brighten it up a bit, make it match those edge pieces a little bit more. Make sure you paint the edge as well. But once it's all dry, I took a Dollar Tree letter stencil, and I'm just going to take that same red and stencil on the letter B. This ornament will be for my youngest daughter. Her name is Brynhild. So I'm putting a B on there, and it's super cute. Let it dry, give it a coat of Mod Podge, let that dry, and then we can add us a little hanger. And I'm using some red and white gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I cut about, I want to say probably 4 inches or so, maybe 5. I fold it over, glue the ends together, and then I'm going to glue that right at the top of the front where the letter is, right in the middle. And to cover up the end of the ribbon, I'm going to take another one of these cute little mini bows from the Dollar Tree and hot glue that right on top of the end of that ribbon. And for good measure, I painted on the ear. I love to do that on my ornaments. And that's it for this one. My little one, she loves it. She thinks it's so pretty, and I think it's so pretty. I know candy cane and then snowflakes on the back, but it's fine because it's all red and white and it's super Christmassy, and I love it. Ornament number 6. I'm making this one for my husband. He absolutely loves deer of all kinds, especially Christmas ones. I picked this up at Michael's, 40% off, so only a little over $1 for this gorgeous ornament. And I'm going to create an acrylic paint stain using black chalkboard paint mixed with some water, and this was way too light. Okay, I put way too much water. I started with like 2 tablespoons of water and like a drop of paint, so I painted all over so it would be nice and even when I add the second coat to it. But I removed some of that water using a paper towel, added more paint, and got a thicker consistency, and just painted another layer on there. It's totally fine, worked perfectly. If you're using an ornament like this, make sure you get into all those cracks and crevices and paint the inside and outside edge of it as well. And while it dries, I made a cute little bow, and this is just a really simple bow you see me do these all the time. It's like little bow tie pasta bows. That's what I call them. But it's just about 3 or 4 inches of a wide red buffalo check ribbon that I picked up at Walmart. Just folded it over, pinched it in the middle, cinched it with some Dollar Tree jute cord using hot glue to secure it. I also took a sprig of this boxwood from Walmart and cut off 4 smaller sprigs that will attach in a little bit. I also picked up this ivory planks scrapbooking paper from Michael's, and it is so beautiful. I love that wood grain pattern. It's so pretty. We're going to trace the outside of our ornament on top of it and then cut that out about 1 centimeter or so inside that line because we don't want that sticking out the sides of our ornament. We're going to stick this on the back using some regular school glue. I tried to do it with glue stick and it was not working for me. But I just put a very thin layer of regular school glue on here. You see me putting it on here pretty heavy-handed, but I take my finger and sort of smooth that out and get off any excess. You could also use spray adhesive, but once again, I'm out again. Once you have your glue on, line your paper up the way you want it to look on the front, and then lay it down gently and just sort of tap it to make sure it secures down onto the back of your ornament. While it dries, we can finish up our bow. We're just going to take those 4 little sprigs of boxwood and hot glue those to the back of our bow. Once I had all my little sprigs attached, I felt like my bow needed to be smaller, so I trimmed it up and made it just smaller, and I feel like this looks so much better. I'm going to hot glue that on the front over that little hole that's designed to be like you put your hook in. So I'm going to cover that up. And then we're going to take some more Dollar Tree jute twine, and I don't have any wider jute cord, so if you do, make your hanger out of that, but I'm just braiding 3 pieces of Dollar Tree jute twine to make a thicker piece of jute. I'm just going to braid that up and fold it in a loop, tie the ends together with like a little overhand knot, hit it with some flame, of course, because jute. And then I'm going to hot glue the knot of that loop right into the back of that little hole where we glued down the bow on the front. There's still that hole in the back, so I'm just going to use it to secure down my hanger. And I absolutely love this one. I think this one's my favorite. My husband adores it as well. I also took the time to take a fine tip marker and write his name and the year on the back of it, which I don't show here, but it's simple. It's nothing fancy. It's just my handwriting. For ornament number 7, you're gonna need some real stain if you're into that. If not, go with the last technique. And I grabbed this ornament also from Michael's, 40% off. It's so cute. And we're just gonna stain it using Minwax's dark walnut stain. I'm going to cover both sides of it, and I'm pretty sure I let it dry for a full day before I moved on to the next part. And once it's completely dry, I go in with a pencil and write out my daughter's name just using my handwriting. If you have a Cricut, you could just print it out on there, or Silhouette or whatever. Once I have it on there, I'm going to take a Dollar Tree metallic gold marker and go right over those lines with that. And I'm sorry if you hear a bunch of cars or my kids. Everyone's loud today and I can't get any quiet. Then I decided to take a makeup sponge and some metallic gold paint and go over the scalloped edge of this on the front. The sponge just helps me keep it nice and lined up and not have any excess paint going down into those little holes. And I take a nice thin liner brush and go over the letters as well, because I remembered this marker will smudge and smear as soon as I put Mod Podge on it. So I went over it. And I'm also going to cover the entire back of this ornament in a nice layer of gold paint. And then using antique parchment, I add the year on the back, let that all dry and give it a coat of Mod Podge. Let that dry and then take this pretty blue ribbon my daughter picked out for another project I'm doing for her and attach it to create a little loop for a hook. And that's it for this one. She was a little disappointed that hers wasn't super Christmassy and festive, but I think this one is so pretty. It's simple, but so elegant and personalized with that little pop of color on the top, the blue. I like it. I really do. For our very last ornament, you're going to need to break out the wood burner. I know you don't all have wood burners, but that's okay. I grabbed this beautiful wood cookie ornament from Michael's. It's also 40% off like every other Christmas item right now. I'm going to make a template by tracing it onto a piece of paper, adding a little inside line, and then going over those pencil lines with a marker so that I can see it on the front and back of the paper, because this is a 2-sided ornament. And so I just wanted to make it a little easier on myself. I spent some time designing it, and once I was happy with it, I scribbled some pencil on the back of this and did a little old school graphite transfer, taped it to my ornament, and went over all the lines with a ballpoint pen to transfer it onto the ornament. Flip it over and do the other side as well. And then we can get to the fun part. So you want to pick out the tip you want to use for this project. Screw it in there, heat up your wood burner, and let it heat up a while and test to see if it's hot enough on a scrap piece of wood, like that craft stick I have there. Make sure you have the room well ventilated. Open a window, turn on a fan to blow out that smoke, because it's not good for your lungs, guys. But then you can get started. And I like to do all the straight lines first, and I start with the horizontal ones and then turn my piece and do the vertical ones. But since I turned it, they are now horizontal lines. It's more natural feeling to my wrist to do it in this direction instead of like trying to do down or up, you know. And just take your time with this. You want to move slowly, but not too slowly. You don't want to burn a big gouge hole into your piece, but take your time. Another little tip I wanted to give you guys about this is while you're working, you may feel like it's not burning it very good. Like you might be doing a line and then all of a sudden it feels like it's not burning good or evenly. Just kind of turn it like you would a pencil when the graphite gets worn down on one side. Just turn the pencil. You want to just turn your wood burner and work on the opposite side, because it does lose some of that heat as you work. You also may have it gunk up on the end. You might get a bit of carbon on the end, burnt wood. Just keep a small piece of sandpaper on hand and gently wipe that gunk off of your tip using the sandpaper. Curved lines are really not that hard. Once again, you just want to take your time, you know, and just do a little at a time, slowly, carefully. And if you need to do it lightly and then go back over, that's also fine. You can just take your time with this and work it until you're happy with it. Once the front was done, I flipped it over. I did the back. The back just says Yuletide 2021, and it has some cute little trees on it. I had to make a new hanger for this because I kind of burnt mine apart. We won't talk about that, but that's fine. But the one that comes with it originally is beautiful, and this ornament is beautiful. It is tied with the deer ornament. It is definitely my sub favorite, not my second favorite. I love it so much. I feel like this is such a great one that you can make and give to a couple or a family as like a group gift, you know, and it's a great heirloom piece for sure. Let me know what you thought of all these in the comments down below. Which one's your favorite? Which one are you gonna try? If you're interested in more Christmas DIYs, I will have more soon, but I do have one other than this one where I turned some Dollar Tree placemats into pillows. So yeah, check that out. I have that linked at the very end here. Just a second, but that is all. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Tap that notification bell so you know every time I upload. Have a holly jolly day, and I'll see you guys next time.